right, just got done with my visit from Dan from Whitetail Warriors Deer Camp. Head over to his channel. It's a good channel. It's got a lot of information. He's very good about rules and regulations. Any questions you got about any of that stuff, definitely leave comments on Dan's page on his YouTube channel, and he'll get back to you. He always answers. I started talking with him, oh, it's been a few months now, and talked about getting together, and he finally had time to get over, and we're hopefully going to do some hunting together in the fall. He's going to come back, and hopefully we get together, do some filming and hunting, and be good. But make sure you check his channel out, Whitetail Warriors Deer Camp. He's a great guy. He's got good content, very knowledgeable about rules and regulations, like I said. So definitely somebody you can listen to, and he won't lie to you. If he knows the rule, he'll tell you. If he don't, he'll tell you he don't. Okay? But very good. Dan, if you're out there watching this video, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Like I said, I love to open my place up for deer hunting. So you're welcome back anytime, buddy. Had a great day with you. Appreciated everything you've done. I really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit, and our conversation was good, I thought. But thank you very much for coming over. Again, Whitetail Warriors Deer Camp. He gave me this hat plus another hat that I got back home. Just a really good guy that deserves support. So let's make sure that we give that to him. And as always, make sure you're out there, you're getting after it. Cut this video, get it out there. When you get to the end of it, I did the first part, Dan did the second part, so you can watch mine, see how we get started, and then go over to his and watch the end of it when we talk before he took off. Okay.
I sat down and got comfortable, poured a cup of coffee, they started hollering. I mean, like from here to the road. And then by this time I'm wearing the coffee because it scared it.
Yeah, right.
So then they come in. There was 4 of them. They all had radio collars on, and they were all adults, you know.
They had radio collars.
Yeah, all 4 of them. And then they circled, growling and whole 9 yards. Well, there was probably 4 inches of snow on the ground with a full moon. So at 6:30 in the morning, you could almost see with the full moon and the snow.
Yeah.
And then I started hollering, you know, had a few choice words, and all of a sudden they just took off and went.
Angered off.
Now, I had probably some mock scrapes out there for me to them trees away, and a local guy up there, an old timer, told me, he said they smelt that deer urine.
They'd smell that.
And they were taking me, you know, as a deer.
Right.
But no, that was the only time you know, they were from here to that pole away. You know, and that was back when they.
Now, were you gun hunting?
Yeah, it was open day of rifle season.
That would have been tough for me.
Yeah.
That would have been tough.
But that was when there weren't as many. That was back in 2005 or 6 when that happened. There wasn't. They were there, but not like now. I mean, they're just everywhere.
You see them regularly now.
Oh yeah, I got them on trail camera.
I saw your trail cam pic. Yeah.
They're just. I mean, we sit out at the bonfire at the cabin at night, you know, and you can hear them. And you know, and you know what's funny is, I've yet to see a coyote in about 20 years.
I had one on my camera last night. I had a fawn come. Well, the fawn come through after, about an hour after. But there was a little coyote come through, and then exact same spot there was a fawn standing last night. I don't know if fawn made it through the night or not. I don't know.
But you know, they're just, you don't even hear the coyotes anymore.
Right.
You know, this particular area that I've been hunting in lately used to be loaded with them, and people say, well, why don't you move on? I'm like, well, the wolves are going to be where the deer are.
If they're going to follow them. Yeah.
You know, so I had a deer on trail camera, and you know, but they're just, if something don't happen soon, that's just, I don't know what's.
Well, and even now, I mean, I don't know, what do they say, 600 wolves or something, they say?
Yeah, the latest count, 720.
720? Okay.
Yeah.
So even if they cut it at that, you're still going to be in the situation you're in, because there's still 720 wolves.
Yeah.
Like, they need to cut it down.
And I don't know
in order for the deer to.
If you heard me talk about it, but there's over 3,000 trail cameras up there that the state put out to monitor these things. Because out in an area where I'm hunting, and they're putting them on the 2 tracks. Okay, it's like you or I wouldn't put a trail camera there.
Right.
You know? So we were going out to one of my areas, and my son says, "Dad, look at it, there's a trail camera." And I'm like, okay, I got company. You know, hopefully I run into him to see where. I mean, it's state land. I mean, you can't do nothing. You know,
Right.
so if I ever find that, I always try to find the guy and say, "Hey, where you at?"
Yep.
This,
Sure.
you know, just to be nice. You know.
Yep.
But then later on that day, we took the 2-track, another one that my cabin's on. We went up the road and we saw 3 more
Okay.
on the road. So then I know the DNR officer up by me. I called him and I says, "What's with these trail cameras?" You know, he says, "Well, the state biologists are putting them all over 3,000 of them throughout the whole UP."
Well, trying to get a good
Try
number on them.
But this so-called study that they just did and came out with the count, they didn't even use the data from them.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what it is. I don't get into the regulations and the stuff as much as you do. I just never really followed it. You know, I get a deer license, I go deer hunting. I'm starting to kind of pay attention a little more now, and the wolves is something that's got my interest. I just don't see how the deer are going to rebound. I just don't see it.
No.
I just don't see it. I don't know what they're going to do, but at some point they're going to have to do something if they want to keep deer hunters.
You know, there's a guy up there, this Brian Roel, or I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's head of the DNR wolves or whatever. And he claims that the wolves ain't hurting the deer. It's the bad winters.
Yeah.
And we've had bad winters
Before the wolves, and look at the deer. We're doing fine.
and they came back the next year.
Right, yep.
You know, granted, I'm not denying that a bad winter won't take a wolf out. Or take the deer out.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but you're not. The deer ain't there. I mean,
You get the bad winter plus the wolves.
yeah, you know, and then like this year, there wasn't hardly any snow.
I just can't believe you would go a gun season and just not see
Yeah,
200, 300 deer. Like throughout the whole season, you know,
Yeah.
see deer.
yeah,
But it's the same way here. You know, when I first started, let me see, it was 1984 when I was 12. So that's when I started bow hunting. 1984 gun hunting. It was nothing to see 50 deer.
Yeah.
It was nothing on opening day to see 50 deer. Now, if you see 10, like you had a good sit.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, if we see 1 or 2, where I'm at,
Now, at that point, do you shoot that deer?
the bucks I do.
Yeah.
I'll be up and honest with you. I'm not a trophy hunter.
Yeah.
If I see something legal,
Yeah.
cause
shoot it.
I'll shoot it.
Yeah.
You know, and I take a lot of, let them go, let them grow. Okay, well, there's pros and cons to that.
There is, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, if I don't shooting, is the wolf gonna get him?
Right. Somebody else going to shoot it. I
You
mean,
know,
there's a lot
so,
of things that go on there.
Like the combo tag up by me is 3 points on one side on the
Same here.
on the first tag, on the first one.
Yep, same here.
So I met a guy up there. He's no longer has a camp up there, but he was into that QDMA.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he had 300 acres.
Makes it easy.
Okay, well,
Easier.
You got 300 acres surrounded by a 40 guy owns this, a 40 here, and then you got 1,000 state land added up to it, right?
Right.
Okay, well, my dad passed away during deer season, and he invited me to come back up because I left. My dad told me to go deer hunting. He said, "Don't stay here. I want you to go." And he died the 17th. Well, I had to pack up and go home naturally.
Right.
But then Randy, I told him, I said, "I got to go. My dad died." Blah blah. Well, he invited me back up. You can hunt here with me. I says, "All right." So we get there. He goes, 8 point or better on my property. I'm like, "That's fine. It's your land." Blah 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 blah.
Right.
Well, later on that night, we got to talking. I says, I said, you got this guy over here you're complaining about, 40 acres, shoots anything. You got this guy with 40 that shoots anything, and then you got all this state land. I said, and he never shot an 8 point or better on his property.
Yeah, right. Once you get the people around you doing that, it doesn't help you.
No.
It doesn't. There's nothing you can do.
More power to you if you want to do that and got the authority to do that. Or see, I only own 5 acres. But anything legal up there, buck-wise, I'll shoot.
Yeah, I started, I don't know, maybe about 10 years ago, really trying to just shoot a bigger buck, But I went through a phase of about 5 years of that. Now I've gone back. I'm similar to you now. If it's just a basket 6, I'll probably let it walk. But you'll see some in there that are, they're 2.5, 8 points. Yeah, I'll shoot them. I'll shoot those deer. Around here, that might be the biggest deer there is. I've shot some pretty good ones. I got mounts at my house. I've shot some pretty good ones around here. But it's been 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't know if you've read up on or followed it lately, but all the new changes coming.
I just seen the one about the youth hunt and they could shoot.
Well, they're supposedly they're gonna extend deer season through the whole month of January for does only in certain parts of the state. But then you're gonna have to buy another license for that hunt.
Separate one, separate than the doe tag even.
Yeah, for the January hunt.
Okay.
And then they're trying. It didn't pass this year, but they're trying to get it where there's no APRs. See, I think APRs are great for southern Michigan because there's so many deer, but APRs for the UP, I don't think that's right.
Yeah. Well, so I started going to Missouri maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And when I got down there, the county we hunt in is 4 on a side. Doesn't matter. State land, private, it's 4 on a side. I love that. But when I went down there, went to breakfast, started talking to some of the locals, they hated it. Like, I work 6 days a week. I have Sunday to go hunting. And now you're telling me I can't shoot a big 6 point? So, when I start talking to those guys, I got a different view of it. I get it. I understand it. My dad, when he was alive, he worked, 45, 50 hours a week and hunted like crazy. But to tell him, you can't shoot a certain deer,
mm-hmm.
I have issues with the government telling us what we can and can't shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
I have real issues with that.
Yeah.
You're buying your tag, you're trying to get people involved in hunting, you're putting the time in, and then you do everything right, and this great big deer walks out, but it's only, a fork horn. It's 16, 18 inches wide, and you can't shoot it. That's not right.
No.
It's not right.
No, it ain't. It's and the state wonders why we're losing hunters. Back when I first started deer hunting, I-75 was a parking lot all the way up north.
Right.
From my house to Grayling is about the same distance as it is to here. It would take us 7-8 hours to get there.
Traffic.
Because it was bumper to bumper. Now, when we first got our camp up until probably late 90s, you go out my driveway onto the 2-track and go north, there was Army tents, campers, tents, all the way 10 miles to the road ends of just hunters.
Right.
And 750,000 alone rifle tags back in the day. And now with our combo tags, or with you're buying archery and rifle together, they're not even selling 600,000.
No, I wish we would mimic what Missouri does. Missouri sells a combo tag, and you get a buck or a doe with your bow. However, if you shoot a buck before gun season, and then go back after gun season, you can shoot another buck. So you could shoot 2, but if you shoot them both before, then it has to be a buck and a doe. Shoot them both after, it has to be a buck and a doe. Separate, you do, and then you get your gun tag.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot more people out there that gun hunt than bow hunt and gun hunt.
Yeah.
So when you separate them, now you get one with your gun, basically one with your bow, unless you go both.
That's the way it should
I
be.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. That's the way it used to be.
I mean, right now, and I'm not saying anything crazy about myself, but I could go out here and probably kill 2 bucks before October 15th. Just legal bucks, just go out and kill them. And then I would be done. So I don't do that. I try to save at least one tag for second season. So if I shoot one with my bow, I mean, it's going to have to be a pretty big one for me to shoot with my gun.
Because you mostly bow hunt, right?
Yeah, for a few years there, I didn't go gun hunting. So when I grew up, we had a great deer camp. Nothing up here. This was back in Muskegon, but we had 7, 8 guys that go, and it was so much fun. And we had a great group of guys, you know.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of dispersed over time. A couple of them have passed away, and it just changed everything. So then I started coming up here, and that's when I used to have 10 acres around the corner, and I sold that to a guy and bought this place. But I've been coming up here ever since. I like coming up here. I enjoy it. The hunting's a little harder than what I had back home. We had a lot of ag fields and stuff like that. And I don't have the deer camp going on like that. That deer camp mentality, which I think we're losing. I know we are, because I don't see the hunters like I used to.
No, neither do I.
But I miss that. I wish I had that going on. And you just don't. It's hard to get a group of guys to commit to 1 week of straight hunting and coming up and.
Yeah. But no, I live for it. You know, I plan next year, like next year's hunt, the day after the previous year.
Yeah, right. You're already.
You know,
on it.
and
yeah. Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's me. I started at 12. Of course, my dad was bringing me before I was 12. I couldn't hunt. I could sit with them, and my brother too. Both of us. I killed my first deer, 1984. I was 12 years old. October 4th. Took me 4 days to kill one with my bow. And that was, of course, my dad. Here's your tree. Sit there. But we didn't sit together. You know, here's your tree. He left. You know, there were no cell phones, no nothing. You're sitting in there until after dark. And so when you're 12 years old down in that swamp, it gets a little eerie.
Yeah.
You know, but you learn. Like,
Yep.
nothing in these woods is going to hurt you.
Yep.
Just sit right here. You're fine. And so I learned from that, and I had a great group of guys. Now, have you ever heard of Rod Benson game calls? You ever heard of that guy? So I grew up with Bensons. So my dad and Rod's brother Jim were best buds. So we grew up at Jimmy Benson's place hunting, and Rod would come out and hunt with us sometimes, and her brother Jeff, and so, you know, I learned a lot all from those guys. My dad and the Benson clan, and they taught us how to hunt and how to kill deer, you know, and that's how I got good at it. And I took that over some jobs over my lifetime.
Yeah.
It's sad to say, but I did.
I quit some jobs
I
because they
did
wouldn't
too.
let me go hunting.
Wouldn't let me go hunting today. I said, well, see ya, I'm out of here. I'll call you on Monday or whatever. If the job's still here, I'll take it back, but I'm leaving.
Yep.
And I did that a bunch of times. Finally got into a position where I ended up buying a business. And so for the last 15 years, I've had that business. So I've had a lot of free time and can go that way.
You got a lot of good hunting down home?
There is. I don't hunt down there as much as I used to. I could. I don't know why I don't. I just don't. You know, after my dad died, going out there to where we hunted wasn't the same. Because it was set up, you know, we had, so like if this was the patch of woods, you know, come deer season, our gun season, it was, we were lined up all the way across here. If a deer come this way, like one of us was going to get it, you know. But once my dad died, everything, it's weird. Everything just kind of fizzled, you know. But I hunted out there for probably 4 years, maybe 5 years after he died. And I don't know. It was more kind of like sad going out there all the time. So I just quit going.
To me, deer down home, even though, like down where I live, it's almost guaranteed. You know, almost. You know, you're gonna see. Well, you saw that video of mine in that box blind opening day of bow season. All them deer I saw. But to me, hunting down home ain't the same as going to my place.
It's not. Yep, it's not the same.
You know, it's hard to explain to people that don't hunt, but it just ain't the same going. I'm going to deer camp.
Right.
You know, prepping for it, getting ready, packing my truck, and all that just, you know, and I get up there. And if I don't want to hunt, I don't have to hunt.
You don't have to, right?
I can sit in the cabin and just sit there.
I could do this right here.
Yeah.
I do this. I get my coffee in the morning. I sit up. I listen to the birds.
You ever get deer walking through here?
Oh, yeah. A lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Turkeys and deer and bear. There's a lot of bear around here.
Oh, is there?
Yep. A lot of bear. Curious what's going to happen out in Colorado where they just released them.
Oh, no, that was so stupid.
Well, that's where I go. Right where they released them is where I go elk hunting. I've only been elk hunting twice, so I'm not an elk hunter, but I really like it. I wish I would have started it way younger in life because it is a lot of fun. But I'm curious to see what that's going to do to the elk herd right there. I think they released 10, they said.
No, how long you gotta wait? You just can't buy a tag over the counter.
Well, it just went to a draw. You used to be able to. So the last time I went, which was last year, it went to draw, but we drew the first year. So I don't know. Sometimes I think they do that because what Colorado does now is they make you buy a small game tag in order to put in for your elk tag, whether you're going to use it or not. That small game tag is $110.
Oh.
So I think they're saying, here, you can get this for the truck, but then you're going to get your tag anyway. In that area where I go. The area I go, I guess, is like the worst area in Colorado to draw or to elk hunt. But I've gone twice.
Now, why do they say that? It
Just there ain't as many elk there. There is a lot of guys. Where I go, down that 2-track, I call it a 2-track, they call it a road. I mean, it's like deer season. There's camps all down through that thing. And guys from all over. There are guys from Missouri, Georgia, Alabama. They're all through there. One guy was from New York, was out there. And very few of them get elk with their bow.
Did you see them?
I did. So I've gone twice. The first year I missed I think he was a 5x4, and I just got shook up bad. That one I have video of, but I didn't get the shot on. I got the aftermath. And then the second one last year, I actually hit one. I shot one, and it was a big one. No video of that because I was trying to self-film, and that's insane.
That's hard to do.
Elk hunting's crazy because you're walking. Elk hunting, you're walking. You're not sitting still.
I'm out of shape. I couldn't do it.
Well, and so I thought that too. So what I did is I figured it out. You know, it's just like anything else. You got to go to figure stuff out. The first year, the guys
you go by
I was
yourself?
with,
Oh, you went with
the first year there was a group of guys that brought me out there. You know, it was their camp, and they invited me, and I went. And then the next year I was going to go back. Well, the gentleman that had gotten injured got back in, so then I was out. So, and which is fine. You know, that's the way it works. But then I kind of knew where to go, and those guys ended up moving over to I call it an outfitter. They say they just lease the guy's property and hunt, but that's an outfitter. So they go to that. So then I called them and I asked, hey, do you mind if I take my brother out to where we were? Because I didn't want to just get a group of guys and go to the spot they showed me, you know. And they were like, yeah, go ahead. We're not going back there. So my brother and I went out the second time. He did not get an elk or see an elk, but I did. I shot one, and we tracked that thing.
Now,
for
do you guys
quite a while.
separate?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
separate?
yeah.
So you have like a base camp, and then you just start walking uphill?
Well, so what I did is because of the mountains and stuff, because you can ride four-wheelers out there. So they got it dialed in. You can ride on these. You can't get off the path, but you can ride the path and park alongside. So what I did is I started going up on top of the mountain, just riding my four-wheeler up there, parking. You got to walk further, but it's flat. It's flat. You ain't. And those mountains are insane. And they talk about the oxygen level and all, and everything they talk about is true. You walk from me to that fire, and you got to stop and take a break. You cannot breathe. So, but I learned to get up on top of there, and then you just basically wait for the elk to come up in the morning and hit the little. They call it dark timber. It's pines. You hit the dark timber, and just kind of walk through there and call a little bit. The one I did, I don't know. When I first seen him, he was probably over to my neighbor there. But I hit that call a couple times, and that thing, you can see him just pop up, and here he come. He'd come running right in. It took maybe 5 seconds from there to me that I was shooting. And I hit it right here because it turned and faced me. I hit it right here, and I think it ran right alongside his rib cage. I don't think it went in. He didn't bleed a ton.
Yeah, I heard
that thing for probably 400 yards, though.
My son's buddies, a couple of his buddies go, and the one guy got sick.
Oh, elevation.
Yeah,
thickness.
and they had to come home.
Yeah.
But I guess there's something you can take for that.
Yeah, they say to drink a lot of water, which you do. It's insane. You do anyway. I don't know why, but when you get out there, you just start drinking water. And the other thing is like Dramamine. They say if you take Dramamine, that helps. Now, none of the guys I was with had it, and my brother didn't get it. But what we do is we go out there like 2 days early before hunting season, and then you can just ride the four-wheelers around, sit around camp, and you kind of get acclimated to it. They say.
But you really notice a difference then.
Oh, yeah. You walk from here to there, and you notice a difference. Like, I'm gasping, trying to walk up this mountain, and you have to stop. You have to stop. And
just to wonder how those animals can do it.
Yeah, and they do it like nothing.
Yeah.
They just like nothing.
Yeah. Did you see anything else out there besides elk? Did you see, like, cougars or anything?
I didn't see any cougars. They say there's a lot of them where we're at, but I did not see any personally. Bear, there's a lot of bear in there. Again,
black bear, right?
Yep, I didn't see any bear. You can buy it over the counter black bear tag. They're $100. Go out there. They just want them gone. But guys that I was with had film of them when they were sitting. They filmed them with their phones and stuff. Mm-hmm. I personally did not see any.
Now, do they got regular whitetail out there, or are they mule deer?
Mule deer. So on the front here is one of the, I found a deadhead out there. So that's that. The area we go to, it's a draw for mule deer. It's pretty hard to get a mule deer tag, but they get really big ones. So that one was one I found dead like 300 yards from our camp by the river. And then last year I filmed one that was really big. It's on one of the videos. Or maybe I didn't put it in the video. I don't know if I did. But it ran across the road in front of us and then stopped. They're like pets. So the place we pulled into camp is probably as big as in my yard right here. And there was just like a couple camps set up in there down the trail. One of the guys from the camp next to us the year before, he shot a mule deer sitting in his chair at camp like this, and it walked out and he shot it. I filmed 3 of them that walked right by our camp. We were just sitting there and I filmed them right. I could have shot them easy with my bow. So wow. They don't run from you. The mule deer don't run from you. They just hang out. You just walk up to them and shoot them. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of.
So what are we in, Lake County?
This is Mason.
Okay.
So you came that way. That road that you came off of 10 on, that's the border. So the other side of that is Lake. This is Mason.
Yeah.
So that road, if you continue, you're going to run into the river down here, and then it picks up on the other side. So
is that the Muskegon River?
Nope, that's the Pere Marquette.
Okay.
So I would come in from the other side and actually walk the 2-track back. And then if I turn right, I'm in Lake. If I turn left, I'm in Mason off that 2-track. So it depends. Now I shot a really big buck back there one year, great big one, and that was considered Lake County, but it was only Lake County by like 75 yards. So some people say, well, they don't grow them that big in Lake County. Well, maybe not, but that deer walked onto Lake County and I shot it. So I chased that deer for 3 years. That deer. That was the craziest deer story that I've ever had. The first year I started getting pictures of that deer, I seen it on October 1st. I had it within 20 yards of me, and I was just getting ready to draw, and it smelt me and took off. That was the only time I seen it on the hoof that year. I had pictures of it all year, only seen it one time. The next year, I had pictures of it. I never seen it. Same deer. You can tell, plain as day. And then the third year, I actually killed it. And then, so this is where it gets crazy, because I killed that deer, and I took a picture, I put it on Facebook. At my business down there, about a week later, a guy walked in. He was looking for me. He has his laptop with me. He showed me 6 years of video and pictures of that deer. His cabin was a mile away from where I killed it. And he has 10 acres right there. So he was trying to let his wife kill it, he said. So on the back of it, he had all the pictures of it. And but he had 6 years of pictures of that deer. And it's crazy. You can see exactly. The antlers are exactly the same. The year before I killed it, it was an 8-point. It had a little nub on one side of a 9, and then the year I killed it, it actually went down. But you can see it plain. It is that deer every single year. So he had 6 years of video and pictures of that deer. So
that's amazing. Yeah,
for that deer to live that long. But like I said, I chased it for 3, and it was literally just putting trail cameras on. I'm like, damn, he's back. He made it through. And every year he kept making it. And then it was October 7th that I actually killed it.
So what do they say, like after the 6th year or something, they start declining? And
I think it's 5th or 6th or something. And I think I've heard the Drury's talk about this, that they get easier to kill after 5 years old. 3 to 5, they're really hard to kill. And I didn't think much of it. But that deer, once that guy came in with that, I went, you know what? I was chasing that thing when he was 3 to 5 years old, and I couldn't get him. He was 6. Might have even been 7. I should have brought that deer in and got it aged. He might have even been 7. He was big. He was over 200 pounds dressed. That thing was huge.
Now, where'd was that your son that shot that deer during rifle season?
Yeah, he shot that deer. I guess it'd be east of here, place we go. And so we gun hunt over there. I used to bow hunt that section. I don't bow hunt it anymore. It's pretty tough to get to. There's a lot of hills, and I'm getting older, and I'm starting to slow down.
Oh yeah, I know.
But we gun hunt over there just because it's a nice big piece. And so my brother, my son, and I, and then my brother's son came up one year. He didn't come up last year. And then my son's buddy said he was going to come up, but he didn't come up last year. So we got that section where we can get 200 or 300 yards apart. So it's nice for that.
Yeah.
Some of the other places I go to bow hunting are just, they're an island out in the middle of a swamp. Well, you can't put 3 guys on that island.
No.
So it makes it tough to gun hunt them as a group. Now, if I was gun hunting by myself, oh yeah, I would hit them spots.
Yeah.
I go over there because of it's easy and convenient. And we do, every year we kill a halfway decent buck over there. Now, the one that my son killed, that's probably the best one that we've killed over there. Okay? We have pictures of some good ones, but he killed a pretty good one that year. But yeah, he doesn't get into the bow hunting as much as I do.
No.
Doesn't. No, he doesn't. He does go. He does go, but it ain't like me. It's I rearrange my schedule to go. You know what I mean?
I hear that.
And so he doesn't get into it quite as much. But again, when I was growing up, we had deer camp. It was fun. You went and it was an event, and everybody. And nowadays we just don't have that. So it's hard to get the kids going.
Younger generation, they don't want to do it.
No, I don't know what it is. I really don't. I've had both of my kids, my daughter and my son, killed deer on my 10 acres. I took my son over to Bad Axe when he was younger. Some guy was running an outfitting thing over there on state land, and we went over there, and he shot a doe over there. So we've done some things like that, but it just never really took off like it did with me.
Mm-hmm.
It just never did. I don't know if it's
strokes for different folks.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know if some people have it in them and some people don't. I don't know. I grew up that way. It's kind of weird, but I just thought everybody was like me. You know what I mean? And then when I got older, I realized, well, I guess everybody's not like this.
Yeah.
And now I'm almost kind of like it's kind of an odd to find a person that hunts all the time like I do.
Yeah. I had the same feelings as you got. I quit asking guys to go.
Right.
Because I look at it this way.
She forgot
something. You want to hunt? Well, I can't. Well, okay. Well, if something dramatically happens where you can't go, that's a different story.
That's one thing. Yeah.
Okay, but and then the one year I charged everybody $100 for 10 days.
Nothing wrong with that.
All you had to do was bring whatever alcohol you wanted and your gun. Okay, my wife went to Sam's Club, and this one guy came up. There was actually a fist fight in my cabin.
Oh, jeez.
Because the one guy only wanted to pay $50. He said, well, I brought my own food. So one of the other guys at the table, they got irate. He got up and just beat the living shit right out of him. Excuse my language, but I mean, really? I told him, I says, where can you go get a hotel for 10 days up here and tell me how much you're going to pay.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you're just trying to make I said, I got all the receipts. I'm actually losing money.
Yeah.
Well,
even that, though, I get real issues with people come up and they get nitpicky about shit like that.
Yeah.
It just drives me nuts. You knew what it was before you got here. You could have said no.
Yeah. But, I mean, I bought, the propane for the place wasn't cheap.
That's not cheap.
And I bought the paper plates, the paper towel, all that stuff. And then my wife I brought all the food. You didn't have to bring nothing.
Right.
And then the one guy, I mean, I got a rule. You're not going to touch no alcohol until we're done hunting for the day and the gun's put away.
Yeah.
Well, this is bullshit. You can't tell. I said, well.
You don't have to be here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because I'm not a big, don't get me wrong. I'll have a beer or two, but I don't need to drink 12 beers or.
Yeah, right.
I don't need to do that to have a good time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And besides, when we're up there at a campfire, if I drink 5 or 6 beers, I'm up all night taking a leak.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We used to, when I got up here to hunt, it was a buddy of mine that his dad had some property up here, but we went to state land. So we would go to state land and park our campers, okay? But he brought me up here, because I hunted at home. But he brought me up here, and we had camp, and it was that, we partied and we drank, and I used to drink a lot when I was younger, and we did a lot of drinking, but I always got up and went hunting. I was the only person that every morning I went hunting, and then I'd come home and take a nap, and then I'd go hunting at night, and then we'd be drinking. But then it just got to where I don't even know what really happened. It was like, I guess I was a little more serious about hunting,
Yeah.
And so when I came up here, I wanted to hunt. I wanted to hunt.
I can sit and drink beer at home.
Right.
Right.
And it was, a lot of, we went out to bars and shit. We did all of that stuff. but I've kind of grown out of it. I think I just don't do that much anymore.
No.
So, now, like I got a great spot right here. There's electric to that power right there. People could come up, set their campers. They got electric outside. They can hook into that thing right there. That's the septic. They could hook their camper right into that, and I got a good setup. It's hard to find guys to come up to hunt.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to come up to hunt. They want to come up to play loud music and party all night long. And
that's fine.
You want to do that in September? I'm all for it. But come October, that's done with me. It's done.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem drinking beers and hanging out, but I go to bed early and I get up early. So I got this place and it's open. Anybody that wants to come up here and go hunting, come up. Park your camper right there. I don't care. I want people to be up here.
Yep.
But you're not going to come up here and do that. You're not going to piss my neighbor off by partying all night and keeping him awake. That stuff's just not going to happen.
No.
We can sit out here and have beers and play music and stuff. We can do that. I'm all for it. But we're going to go hunting. We're going to go hunting.
Now I see you hunt out of a saddle now, eh?
I bought a saddle. I got caught up in the craze and I bought one and I use it once in a while.
Do you?
I don't really like it.
No.
No.
I don't have one. I just,
It's definitely got its. Okay, if I wasn't filming, I think it would be a lot easier. But I still have to bring my cameras and everything.
Yeah.
So I still got all that stuff, and now it's on my back, and then I got the sticks underneath that. They're flopping around, and then you wear your saddle, and then you get to the tree, and it's like you got to have an order of how you do things, and if you skip one, you're screwed when you get to the top of the tree. You're up there trying to figure. I don't know. I'll do it. I'll hunt out of my climber every day of the week and twice on Sunday over that saddle. And usually when I get up in the tree in the saddle, it's like, oh, there's 10 yards, there's a tree right there, I could climb with my climber. There's a tree right there, I could climb with my climber. It's not like, oh, this is the only tree within 100 yards that I can climb and I have to have a saddle. It's never been like that. Never.
Yeah, they just don't look comfortable to me.
I didn't have a real issue with comfort. I was all right with the comfort. It was just there's a lot of stuff going on trying to get up that thing. And then the prusik knot or whatever they call it, that thing's a pain. It don't work. It'll work to keep you this way, but to try to get your hands over there to get closer to the tree when you're trying to set up, that's for the birds. So I think I did it. I hunted last year out of it. I think one time towards the end.
Yeah.
And I think it was, I haven't used this thing all year. I'm gonna use this to go hunting, to make a video.
They just don't look safe to me.
I feel pretty safe in it. I really do. Hooked to the tree. I mean, it's pretty solid. But
you got to have a platform to put your feet on.
Yeah, some people stand on branches and stuff, but I don't know. I got a tethered platform that I got, and that's a whole other thing too, because that thing's in your backpack. For me anyway, because I got cameras, so it's like you get up to where you need to be. You're at the top. Now you're latched in. You got to get your platform out of this, and your camera and everything's in there too. So it's okay. Take this platform out, get it set up. Now I still have the thing that the platform comes in, the little bag that it's carried in, because that's outside of my backpack. Now I got to drop that thing down to the ground because I don't know where to put it. Then try to get up onto the platform, get my camera out. Now I got to take my backpack, hook it to the tree so I don't drop my camera. So I leave everything in the backpack and I'm trying to pull it out. Well, you're sitting like this. Where's your backpack? It's right in front of you. Where's your camera need to go? Right in front of you. So now you're trying to, it's a hassle. And you have to do it every single day to get it down, And if you skip a step, you're screwed. You're screwed.
Yeah.
That Lone Wolf I use, there's no removable parts. So I don't have to worry about dropping something into the leaves or into the snow where I can't find it. Nothing comes off that thing. So you just get it set up and go. It's as easy as can be. You met my wife there. She started hunting maybe 4 or 5 years ago with me. Never hunted when she was younger. Matter of fact, didn't want anything to do with hunting when I met her, But now she goes, and I had to talk her into it because, again, I was coming up here by myself and staying 3, 4, 5 days. That's hard to do by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You get bored.
Yeah.
So I started getting her coming up here, and next thing you know, she wanted to go hunting, so I started bringing her. She loves it now. She uses a Lone Wolf climber, and so if she can do it, anybody can do it. They're easy. The one she's got, you sit down on and climb, and that thing is comfortable. It is comfortable. A little bigger, but it's comfortable, and she's killed some deer out of it. You know?
Yeah.
She gets up early and goes with me before and comes out after dark, and she's been great about it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying about coming up here by yourself. You know, it's like, you go to my place, I'm staring at four walls, you know. If I don't bring the generator, you know, you got electricity. I don't have that, you know, and if I want to watch a movie or something, you know.
Yeah.
But I got into this thing because there was a lot of times that I'd go by myself.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go hunt. And what I would do is, it's not safe, in my opinion.
It's not safe.
So what I would do is I'd leave a note on the kitchen table where I was hunting.
Yeah, smart.
And I wouldn't hunt nowhere else that day but that spot, you know. And because my brother, he doesn't know the area as good as I do, but he knows some of this, you know, the roads and this.
Yeah,
where,
right.
Where
Yeah.
I'm in the vicinity where I'm at. Like if I, you know, they'd know where to go find me, you know. But when you have other people with you, it's, you know, carrying a deer out or anything.
So I don't know if you saw my video a couple years ago, because I do hunt by myself a lot still, because my wife works, and so a lot of times I'll come up on a Tuesday and I'll stay Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and then I'll go back for a day, and then she gets out of work on Friday, we come back up. So through the week I hunt by myself, okay? Because everybody I know's got jobs too, so they can't, you know, be up here or whatever. But I fell it was a couple years ago.
I think I remember hear you talk about
I went
it.
way back in the swamp. I was way back in there, probably about almost 2 miles. And I was coming out, and there was water, and then there was a log that crossed it. And it was only maybe from me to there. You know, it was just a little thing. So I just jumped on top of it and was walking across it. Well, my left foot, so I had my bow, and I had my saddle. I believe I used my saddle back there. I did. So I had my bow in this hand, and I stepped with my left foot, and my left foot fell this way. So when I fell right to that log, and I hit my shoulder on it, and I heard it pop. And I don't know if I went out, but I was on the ground in the water, and I got up, and my shoulder instantly, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't lift it, you know? I'm like, I broke my collarbone. I thought for sure that's what it was. And it took me a while to get out of there, because I'm trying to look at my phone, and I'm in pain, and I can't carry my bow. I can't do anything with this arm, so I don't usually have to look at my phone, you know, on Onyx and get me out of there, because I don't have a set path in or out. And then my bow, well, now I'm trying to do all this, and I couldn't look at my phone. I kept getting off course trying to get out of there, so it took me a long time to get out of the woods because of that. But that, you know, when I called home and said, hey, I fell, you know, my wife was like, you need to really start thinking about going by yourself, you know, because I don't know, I go by myself all the time, and I don't even think twice about it.
Yep.
But it is dangerous.
Yep.